What if the silent partner in Trump's mass deportation machine is actually the very people claiming to fight him? Today we are talking about the sanctuary city paradox, and I am going to show you how the refusal to comply with ICE is actually handing the Trump administration a massive deportation bonus at the expense of the very families Democrats claim to be protecting. Let's look at the Minneapolis incident.
ICE agents now going out in full force in Minnesota's Twin Cities communities as the Trump administration steps up the fight against illegal immigration. Mike Tobin's been there all week, back in Minneapolis again today. Mike, good morning.
Good morning, Bill. Operation Metro Surge is in full swing. Hundreds have been taken off the street. Now, Minneapolis has been a sanctuary city since 2003. So the warrant that ICE agents served yesterday is pretty typical. You've got a guy who they say entered the U.S. illegally in 2023, came to the Twin Cities, broke the law.
Let's look at exactly what just went down. In Minneapolis, this is a classic sanctuary city. The local policy is strict. Do not cooperate with ICE. Do not honor detainers.
The fear of people to cause the police is something that to call the police in a time of need is something that harms everyone. We don't need that. If people are able to prey on certain people in our community, to victimize them, to rob them, because they think those folks are less likely to call the police, that makes everyone in the city less safe. It does absolutely nothing for public safety. So I just need to be clear, as our mayor has stated, the Minneapolis Police Department does not work with federal law enforcement for the purpose of conducting immigration enforcement.
An undocumented immigrant gets arrested by the local police for a crime. Under a normal system, ICE would be notified. They did pick him up, one person from the jail, and that would be the end of it. No fanfare, no grand entry or departure by federal agents. It would be one arrest, one deportation. But because of sanctuary laws, the jail releases him without a word to federal agents. They think they have saved him, but they didn't.
The target of this raid is a 26-year-old from Ecuador. When the agents showed up here on the scene, they were actually met at the door, so you didn't have a big breach of the door. They didn't have to break it down. They went in and got the individual. In fact, something Tom Homan talked about, because you don't have a handover in the jail, you get the collateral arrest, other people who were in the house. They took at least 3 guys out of the house right now. The individual they were after entered illegally in 2023.
Save anyone. ICE doesn't just give up. They went and got a federal warrant for unlawful entry. And since he wasn't in a jail anymore, they had to find him. ICE agents go to the undocumented immigrant address to serve the warrant, and this is where the law unintended consequences kick in. When ICE picks up someone at a jail, they only get the guy in the handcuffs. But when you force ICE to raid a home or a workplace, they don't just find the target, they find everyone else who happens to be there. In this Minneapolis case, while serving that warrant, ICE found there 3 other undocumented immigrants in the same house. Collateral arrest. These 3 people weren't on the radar. They were just at the wrong place at the wrong time. But because the target was released back to his home, ICE was led right to their doorstep.
He was released. They found him here in East Minneapolis, slumped over a car, intoxicated in some way, shape, or form. And the arresting officer, he got into a fight with him. He attempted to choke him out, and he attempted to get his weapon. This is an individual who was then booked into Minneapolis PD, but before they could get all the paperwork done for an ICE detainer, he was released on the street. So now, instead of a handover in the jail or in a courtroom, you have a big tactical operation in the neighborhood.
The Democrats handed ICE the quinilla and the trifecta in a single raid. If the city had just turned over the one guy at the jail, 3 other people would still be safe today. Instead of 1 deportation, Trump now gets 4. Trump is winning. We hear it all the time. The favorite talking point of the Democrats is family, separation. They say they are the shield against it. But look at the reality. Who separated those 3 extra families in Minneapolis? It wasn't just ICE. It was the sanctuary policy that forced the confrontation out of the jail and into the living room.
And you had people blowing their whistles, so the protesters came out. And one woman who came out to protest her, she shoved one of the agents who was guarding the perimeter. That was enough for her to get zip-tied and hauled into federal custody. And keep in mind, none of this happens if Angel Quiquintuna from Ecuador was handed over in the jail.
Wow.
Bill?
Okay, Mike, it rolls on there. Minneapolis, Mike Tobin, thank you.
Sanctuary cities think they are the resistance, but by refusing to hand over illegal immigrants in a controlled environment, they are forcing ICE to conduct at-large operations that sweep up friends, neighbors, and relatives, like one of the whistleblower who get arrested just by alarming all the undocumented immigrants. The opposition creates a net positive for Trump numbers and a net negative for the immigrant community. The irony is tragic. These cities think they are opposing Trump, but they don't realize they are the silent partner in his deportation strategy. They are serving us more deportation than ICE could have ever found on their own. The next time you hear a politician bragging about sanctuary status, ask yourself, are they protecting immigrants, or are they just setting the stage for the next ICE raid?